Hey, long time no see. Actually, this is kind of inspired by, I think it's Power Femme Tarot's post on Instagram with regards to, not cleansing decks. And I don't know, I just started thinking, so this isn't actually about cleansing decks. This is actually about something completely different. I just started having thinky thoughts. So, very brief Department of backstory. My life basically went to shit this year. And part of, I guess, my way of attempting to cope with that was that I did start really actively trying to seek out people who do readings, and along with me still trying to pull my own cards or whatever. And beforehand, I had never really been about anything with regards to the future, but now I was, of course, really super interested in future sort of anything that might pop up. And I now am really like back to, I think thankfully, where I was before, which is that's maybe really not the best way of thinking of using like tarot and oracle cards. Because before you just me, because regardless of whether it is being seen as good things are going to happen in the future or bad things are going to happen in the future, either way, it can ultimately just kind of screw you. If someone does a reading and they pull cards for the future and they claim to you, well, your future is going to be really great, really awesome things are coming your way, this could screw you over, because then you may become complacent. You may be like, oh, well, the cards say I already have a great future coming my way, I'll just wait for it. And that could either ultimately really screw you over and kind of make your life less great than it could have been, or it'll just kind of, everything will kind of, like, it could make your life just kind of go flat. Like, you leave a soda out overnight and it goes flat. Like that. Alternatively, someone says, oh, these are really bad cards. Your future is going to really suck. Everything is going to go to hell. And you then are either going to panic, or you are going to get into your cognitive distortions. Real fun. Which, if you're not familiar with those, are basically the kind of negative thoughts of various kinds that our brains come up with kind of automatically. You kind of get into this groove. So, for example, one that I tend to do a lot is, I'm sorry, I totally just blanked on it, is, oh my god, I blanked on it completely, and I had it 5 seconds ago. Catastrophizing. So, catastrophizing, or catastrophic thinking, I guess you could also call it, is fairly self-explanatory. You just kind of assume everything for the worst. And it can start, at point A and ultimately end up at point Z, like one moment it's, oh, well, I can't do this thing. And then from there you go, I'm a terrible, horrible person. I'm broken. I'm worthless. Nobody's going to ever love me. I should kill myself. This, for some people, of course, is going to sound maybe even laughable, but for some of us, this is the reality of how our brains work. And if you are being told, or if you tell yourself, well, this is what the future supposedly holds for me, then you have a pretty good chance, if this is how your brain works, of even worse, or even more kind of solidifying those cognitive distortions, however your brain does it. To the point where you're going to maybe feel like, well, why should I even try to make things better? It's pointless. It's worthless. I'm pointless and worthless. Things like that. Because I don't think oftentimes in readings when people pull for the future, I don't think they necessarily stop and say, let me pull some cards to see how else this could go, or how you could avoid this, or here's maybe some advice, yada, yada, yada. And I think that can be really dangerous, whether it's the future is terrible or the future is going to be great. It doesn't matter. Either way, it could be dangerous. Or just, even if it's not dangerous, just I don't even have a word for it. Just like crappy. Like, do you really just want to sit back if you're being told life is going to be great and things are going to work out and all of that, and you might then just, sit back and not do anything? And like I said, things will then either go flat or they could actually end up getting worse. And if you're being told the future is terrible, do you really just want to accept that and be, okay, the future's terrible, I can't do anything about it? Like, no. And this is why I have never, on the whole, been a fan of reading for the future. I've always been more like, what is the potential sort of energetic forecast? Okay? And a forecast can change. We all know this because we all are exposed to weather forecasts, and we all know how changeable those are. Or what's some advice with regards to this forecast? Things like that I feel a lot better about, because it's not saying this is the future, this is what's coming, regardless of anything, this is what's coming. Like, I do not like that. For maybe a few months this year, I was really into that because I really wanted to be told the future is going to be better. What you want is going to be what happens. It's coming. Don't worry. I wanted to be told that. Okay? And that ultimately, I don't think helps anyone. Because even if you're telling someone, hey, things are going to be great, and you have no way really of knowing things are going to be great, you are not, like, that doesn't help people. That can do the complete opposite of helping people. I I feel like the only reason now I'm able to kind of come back around to this sort of thinking is because, number one, time, and number two, honestly, mental health treatment. Because, let's be real, I really like rose quartz as much as the next person, but this did not help me. This did not get me to this point. It did not get me to this point where I am able to talk and be animated and participate in activities and spend time with my friends and have some level of actually wanting to be here in existence. Okay? This did not do that. Rocks and cards are no replacement for therapy, for medication, for CBT, for DBT, for ECT, which I had, and I think is the reason why I'm this animated and feeling this not shitty right now. It's not because of this. I'm sorry. It's not because of my cards. It's not because of a piece of fluorite or something. I'm sorry. This is not a replacement. Things like this are not replacements for actual treatment and actual help for mental health and mental illnesses. So that's my little spiel. I'm sure there will be plenty of people who will say, you're being paid by Big Pharma, and oh my god, ECT is torture and it's the devil. Whatever. If you want to just sit around rocks and cards and whatever else, you go do that. But don't go around telling other people to do that at the expense of their health. That shit isn't cool. That shit is not cool. So have a good one, and maybe if you're going to comment something like that, thinking that I'm like in the pocket of Pfizer or somebody, maybe instead go and not do that, and have a nice drink of water and maybe do some breathing exercises. Bye! Oh,